Hi, I'm Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle. You know, it's interesting. We talk a lot about distracted driving, and unfortunately, a lot of times we find ourselves being distracted and doing those things that distract us from our driving. Probably one of the most damaging things is playing on our phones while we're supposed to be driving. And boy, I tell you, from my experience in law enforcement, 30 years, the worst thing that happens isn't so much the fines that come along with it or people being pulled over. It's the damage that's created as a result of somebody who is distracted driving, causing some type of injury and or death because they weren't driving appropriately. So keep them alive by not being distracted while you drive.
Well, you sports fans out there, welcome to Hot Seat Sports Talk. And this week, we are joined by Naval Academy kicker Cameron Shook. How's it going, Cam?
Doing well,
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate it.
All right, it's good to have you guys back. Hunter, good to have you back too.
Hello, what's up?
All right, so let's get into it. With you guys, Russell Westbrook was fined $25K, Gas Van banned for life. He can't control himself anymore.
Westbrook?
Yeah.
He can't get along with any fans.
No. He can't control himself.
He
can't. You know, I mean, he had the altercation in Philly, 2 in Utah. It's not good for him. It's not good for the, it's not good for the team. It's not good for him.
It's not good for his reputation now, because now everyone's just going to hate him whenever he's on the road, except for the people in OKC because, they have to root for him. So it's just,
Yeah, it's just like the Pistons back in the day too. No one liked them except here now.
Bad boys. Everybody hated him.
Yeah.
So they won a championship though.
Yeah. They won 2 in a row.
Might have been the cleanest way to do it, but
hey, whatever it takes to win.
Whatever it takes, man. That's dedication right there.
Yeah. Free agency in the NFL's been kind of crazy this last week.
We'll both do a side just to see it there.
Antonio Brown was traded to Oakland, as we didn't know what team he was going to, but we knew he was going to get traded. He was traded for a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Odell got traded to Cleveland.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know he was on the market.
For 2 2019 picks, Jabril Peppers. First off, Antonio Brown to Oakland, it's not going to be big this year. It'll be big next year.
Yeah.
If once they build an offensive line and they get some actually, good defenders for a change, because Oakland got lit up last year.
Yes. He needed this. Yeah.
And Odell to Cleveland.
Cleveland's doing something big, man. I'm telling you, Baker, Jarvis Landry, oh my gosh, and now Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, jeez.
Well, look what they're doing on defense too. They got Myles Garrett, Sheldon Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to build up their linebacking core. There's rumors that Eric Berry might be signed by them this coming week.
Wild. That would be wild.
They were looking at Earl Thomas, but Baltimore got him. They got him.
Wow.
So that's insane. I don't think Cleveland will do good this season. Next season.
Ooh.
Do you think
interesting.
Do you think they'll have a better record this season than last season?
Oh,
absolutely.
Seriously?
They'll go. I say 9-7, not make the playoffs.
OBJ and Juice, they're gonna be phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's like old times.
It is.
It is like that in LSU, man.
Yeah. They're going places.
Next year, though, not next year, the year after, 2020, 2021, they will make a run for the AFC Championship.
Well,
without a doubt.
Talk about a 180, right?
It's confident. As soon as OBJ got traded to the Browns, Baker Mayfield posted a photo, and it said #in Miami ?
Send me to Miami.
Or send me to Miami ? So like if he has that much confidence, they'll probably make playoffs. I can see playoffs.
Absolutely. Another Steeler's on the move. Le'Veon Bell's now back in the green and white. He's a Jet, 4 years, $52 million. It's gonna take. The Jets' offense is gonna take off.
I'm worried.
Yeah, you should be worried with the Miami and the AFC East.
I'm very surprised at this deal though, because he's getting less money per year than he would have with the franchise tag. So I believe he's getting like $13-14 million, and that's just right about where the franchise tag was in Pittsburgh. So it must have been something in Pittsburgh that he did not like.
He just wanted out. He just wanted out to prove a point.
On all of his social media accounts, he deleted all Steelers things on everything.
Something must have happened that we just don't know about.
Because isn't it as soon as you get put on the Steelers, it's hard to get out of that?
Yeah,
it's hard to buy out of your contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
The ownership and the general the operations inside the they're tough. They don't let people go. The Lions free agency. Oh yeah. Dan Amendola, 1 year, 4 3/4.
We needed a receiver.
Sorry, but he's with us.
It's okay. I'm so Lions.
He's with us. Trey Flowers, 5 years, $90 million.
Jeez.
That's
Jesse,
big money.
Jesse
Big
James,
money,
tight end,
yeah.
4 years, $25 million.
Needed a tight end.
Yeah.
Like that pickup.
Yeah.
And nickelback Justin Coleman, 4 years, $36 million. Highest nickel corner paid in league history to this point.
You better show it on the field then. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
$9 million a year, man.
Yeah.
That's big bucks there.
That's big.
Well, I saw a couple of highlights when Seattle played Detroit. He picked off Stafford twice in that game.
Yeah.
So
Was this last season?
Yeah, this last season. Yeah.
I went to that game.
Oh.
Sorry for that.
Yeah.
So this is great for the team. It's great. It's
Yeah.
great. Running back, they still need a little bit of help. The offensive line, they need help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Yes.
Defensive line, they need help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Top 3 agents left. The top 3 are available: Ansa, Sue, and Tate. 3 Lions not signed yet to this point. It's disappointing to see.
Yeah.
I'd be thrilled if we got Golden Tate back.
I'm
I
wondering
know
what
you
went
would.
through the GM's mind when he decided to, trade him away or,
Probably thinking his contract's up. We can probably get some value for him. Let's
Right.
trade him. His contract's up. He'll probably leave wherever we trade him anyways,
Right.
so he could get paid more.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably, Bob Quinn's mindset during that trade.
Yeah.
But it's still, if we had Tate, we probably would have made the playoffs. We probably would have. A lot of those games were close. You have to admit at the end.
I'd say it'd give us a better chance.
Yeah.
A better chance,
but-
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And Michigan State wins their 2nd straight Big Ten title. After a huge win over Michigan. I'm sorry.
It happens.
Hey, we were talking with Mark Hackle last week about it, and you said Michigan got it.
I picked State.
You took
Yeah,
State,
I
and I
took
took State. He took Michigan. Well, Cassius Winston took over. He took over
He's
that
the leader
game.
on that team.
Yeah.
He is, and the big thing is they're getting Nick Ward back for the tournament.
That's gonna be huge for them.
On
They
fr-
need a
on-
big
on
offensive
Friday, that's
defensive
huge.
presence.
Michigan's still a good team. They're gonna probably make the finals. They play State.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great, matchup there.
Round 3.
Yeah,
So that'd be
round 3.
entertaining.
Best of 3. Well.
Yeah.
they already won 2, so best of 3. Quick maths.
Yeah, there you go. Gonzaga lost their conference game. First conference game of the year. St. Mary's is in. Does this bounce Gonzaga from a 1 seed?
I don't know if it bounces them from a 1 seed, but it just shows that they are vulnerable at some points. Because I did watch that entire game. St. Mary's had their number. Their big men were just playing good old-fashioned big man pick and roll post-up basketball. It was just crazy. But I still think Gonzaga's still going to be a 1 seed.
It's
I still
something
think they're one of the
for
best
teams
teams
to
in the
look
nation.
at. Yeah.
I think if Michigan State wins the Big Ten title, they'll be a 1 seed.
Wow, that's
For
a
sure.
big,
For sure.
that's a
For
big
sure.
stretch. That'd be crazy though. That
Yeah.
happened.
That'd be
Who would
great.
have to drop them?
Probably Kentucky.
They would have to lose
Ooh.
out then.
Probably
They have to lose in
Kentucky.
their tournament then.
Maybe Duke.
Okay,
Wow.
that's a big stretch.
No.
That's a big
Zion's
stretch.
back against
Zion's coming
Syracuse.
back to Thursday. They're playing Thursday. Zion's back to that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zion's
That's gonna
back.
be huge.
That's gonna be a big pump of life into Duke.
But Syracuse already beat Duke already this
They
year.
did.
Yeah,
Really did.
1-1.
Syracuse is not a team to look down on. They can come out of nowhere. Just Jim. I don't know about Jim Beheim, but he just comes out of nowhere and just demolishes people when he feels like it. To be honest.
So now it's a best of 3 since it's
There we go.
There we go. All right. Real quick before we ask you some questions, what's your Final Four prediction?
Big question.
Ooh.
It's early.
It is early, and Duke has, downfall trend recently, but I'm not a big basketball person either, man. But, my Final Four prediction, championship would have to be Duke. All the hype surrounding Zion, and, depending on if he'll stay healthy or not.
It's huge.
If he stays healthy with that knee injury, I think they have a really good chance.
All right.
It's huge.
That's interesting. That's what Mark said last week when he was on the show with us, too. He liked Duke as well. So,
All right. Question time?
question time.
Question time. Time to put you on the spot.
Put him on the hot seat.
All right.
Put him on the hot.
I am
That's
very
pretty. Where you got that from? All right. So now, before we get into your experiences at Navy, let's talk about, how did you and Aaron meet?
Well, I'll go first.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
2 seasons ago, he and his school, Grosse Pointe South, they came to Fraser. We were 0-3. I think you guys are 3-0.
Yeah, we started off really good that year.
And he comes in, our coaching staff's getting us ready, and coaching staff says, no, they're a good team. They're a powerhouse. They made the playoffs last year, so we really got to prep for them. We came out Cam comes out opening kickoff and boots it all the way past the long jump track off the kickoff. All of our sidelines like, holy crap, can this kid kick? I'm saying our coaches were like, are you kidding me? This kid can kick. And it's about 14-14. We're hanging with them because we had 32 seniors that year, so we had a huge team.
You guys put up a good fight.
We had a good team, and it's 14 up. It's about a minute left. He comes out about from 48 yards, drills it. That's game over. And so we shook hands. I told him, good kicking. I'm like, I could really learn from this guy. I could really pick up some good pointers. And I made it, upon myself. Went over, started talking to Cam after the game, because I knew he'd be in a good mood since they just beat us.
Yeah.
So
Perfect time.
So that's basically how that's just how we met. We ended up training a couple times, and sooner rather than later, boom, he's now in midshipman.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
my story's the same. I mean, after making the kick, you guys like looking back on film the next day with the team. My coach was like, a kid almost blocked that. I forget his number. It was like number 12 or number 11 or something like that. But he almost blocked it. And I was like, wow, like that could have been the difference of the game. So you hung with us the entire time, which was great. And then after the game, talking to coaches, taking pictures with friends. But how seniors are. They like to make sure our memories last through technology now. And then I hear a voice saying, "Hey, great kick!" And I turn around, and it's Aaron. And I'm like, "Hey, thanks, man." And we start talking, and he's asking, if we get together and kick a little bit, maybe I get him a few pointers, train him a little bit, and we met up a couple times, and that's how it all started.
yeah, I mean it was great. I mean the sessions we had were great. It was you really gave me some good pointers for senior, and like the game you had against us, I kind of went out my last game just like you did from that game. So
There you go. Yeah,
So-
gotta make everything count. senior year.
exactly.
So, you started out as a punter,
Yeah.
right? And then became kicking just regularly, almost pretty much everything.
Right.
So, what do you think about before you go out to make a big or really important kick? Like, what's going through your mind?
So, before I answer that question, I was primarily a punter first off, like you mentioned earlier, and then I realized that colleges don't want just one guy who can do one thing. They want a guy who can do everything, right? So for specialist kicking, punting, kicking off, that's the trio there. So I was like, I'm gonna use my time a little bit more effectively. Train, where my punting's up here, kicking's down here. I'm gonna try to equalize that, find the equilibrium there, and that's what college coaches, and I think that's why I had so much success with recruiting. But going through my mind during a big kick, we were playing our rivals, Grosse Pointe North, and we went into triple overtime, and it was wild because 2 of the overtimes we kicked field goals, and one was like a 10-yard penalty back, and it was just like racing through my mind like, oh my gosh, what if I miss this? Everyone's gonna hate me. I'm gonna be like the biggest meme of Grosse Pointe South, and like going through my mind, I kind of psych my psychological self out and be like, oh no, I'm gonna miss this. Don't miss. Kind of like that psychological state. And it's kind of like I'm putting negativity in my brain, and parts of my other parts of my brain are like, we're gonna overcome that and prove yourself wrong. Kind of like that. So it's a little weird, a little hard to understand, I guess. But that's kind of what goes through my mind whenever I have to make a big kick.
It's like, I get you.
It's kind of like you're fighting with yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Fighting against your inner demons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. Every
But,
day it's like that.
Yeah. Most importantly is just go out relaxed, have confidence, and just swing true. Trust your training, trust your technique, and good things will come from that.
So now, during the game that we played against each other, like I said earlier, Frazier's sideline was, the players, the seniors, and the coaches were like, where's he going? Where's he going? I even heard some of our coaches say, oh, he got offers from Duke and other big schools. Is that true? And where did you look at for football to continue?
So right after my junior season, I got offered by Navy and Air Force right off the bat. And those were really great schools, great academics, great sports programs. And then I've always been a patriotic kid, and I've always wanted to, get back to my country and serve my country. which I know is a little cliche to hear, but it's true and it's very deep meaning to me. I started gathering interest from Harvard, Wisconsin, Purdue, and Stanford as well. I went to go visit all of them. I loved that, loved their visit, but when I took an unofficial to the Naval Academy, as soon as I stepped on campus, the atmosphere, where it was located, how it wasn't too far away from, Michigan, but, just far away enough where my parents can come visit me every weekend, which would, kind of be annoying. After I saw the campus, what it stood for, the history, the culture, the tradition behind it, I was sold on it, within 10 minutes of walking on the campus. So, after that visit, I was just, no other college is going to come close to, the feeling that I had with Navy, and that's ultimately how I made my choice.
Wow, that's really awesome, man. Okay.
Thank you.
My turn now again. Not only were you a for the brand kicker,
Oh, yeah. For the brand, baby. Pat McAfee.
but you were also a standout in baseball as well, as we were talking earlier before we started filming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you want to continue playing baseball in college, or was football just your main plan?
So, I was just a sole baseball player early on, and baseball was like my first true childhood love, sport-wise. And, once I used to live in California. Once I moved from California to Michigan, my dad kind of forced me into signing up for football. I was like, all right, fine, no big deal, it's football. And then once I realized I was good at something, I started doing that a little bit more than baseball. And once I saw I had a realistic chance of, going to college and playing football there, I kind of lost sight of my love for baseball and focused more on football. And honestly, if I had to do it back over again and see, comparing the experience with football so far and, the experience of baseball that I could have had, I probably would have gone baseball. But we still had a phenomenal senior year. We won the state championship. That was amazing. It was just hard to say goodbye to the sport that I first fell in love with. But I was talking to a couple of people at the Naval Academy about pulling double duty with baseball and football, and they said it's near impossible to do because your schedule's so rigorous. You have military, duties on top of sports and academics there's no joke. It's so bad, not bad, but like it's hard, but it's rewarding at the end.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my the last cinder kind of fizzled out.
Well, now it's my turn. Well, that kind of answered this question, but like, were you scouted for like baseball? Did you ever like look into schools for baseball?
I did, yeah. About junior year, I had a great junior year football and baseball wise, and I started pursuing the possibility that if football didn't work out, then I could go to baseball and vice versa. And I looked into a bunch of schools. I looked into a bunch of local D2, D3 schools. I didn't think I was good enough to go obviously D1. That's really hard to do. And I just started locally so I could be close to home. But ultimately it was that football that pulled me away from it.
Yeah.
Was there anything that schools did to try to persuade you to pick them over anybody else?
No, and I never visited. I know there's a bunch of conspiracy theories about what's going on at SEC schools. They offer money to them and perks and cars, that kind of thing. But when I went to schools that I visited, they were very sincere, very honest, very truthful with their recruiting process, and they're 100% did nothing to persuade me to choose them. It was up to me. It was free choice. But after I saw Navy and Navy's campus and what it stood for, I was just sold.
So what made you choose Navy?
Yeah,
that's
I got
but like we it
just
kind of answered. Yeah.
just like the feeling that I had when I visited
The campus.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure we haven't asked this yet. Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Was it hard going away to Annapolis?
Yes and no. Yes, it was hard because I'm leaving all my friends and family as well. There's still summer vacation. All that fun
Spring
stuff.
break,
That,
any
spring
holidays,
break,
yeah.
Any holidays. Miss out on a couple of those, but no, because I was really excited and intrigued about starting a new journey in my life to one of the best schools academic wise and sports wise in the country, which is I was just so pumped to not leave but get started with. So they have
A new chapter of your life.
a new chapter of my life. Yeah. So the summer, it's an 8-week indoctrination process called Plebe Summer, and that's what we're referred to now. We're called plebes, which is like in Greek or like Latin, it's like lowest of the low. So we get put on punishments, all these kind of BS that we don't really need to do, but we do anyway just to prove we can do well under pressure. But that's about 8 weeks, and then after that you start your academic year, and that's just plebe summer on steroids because you got academics thrown in the mix, and then you got the schedule there is just so rigorous. But I was excited, but once AC year started, I was like, oh no.
So, red shirt this year. How long do we have to wait until you're starting on TV or anywhere big?
So that's a great question because I still don't know the answer to that. But you can't redshirt at any of the service academies. Your first year is kind of like a wasted year of eligibility. Trying to get you used to like the schedule, academics, military. Try to get you ease into that, not jump straight in. This spring, as soon as I get back from spring break, and our first practice is Monday. But after I get back, I'll have a chance to go toe-to-toe with the starting punter, and if I do better than him, the coaches will decide if I start over him. But he's a great he's a great competitor, great friend. We've gotten really close over the couple of years, or the year that I've been there. And he's just a great guy. So I mean we're both competitors, and we're both itching to go for that starting spot. But if things don't work out in my favor, then I'll do everything I can to make sure the team succeeds, and do anything I can.
So follow up on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have to travel a little bit with the team this year, including going to Hawaii for the first game of the year.
I didn't get to go to Hawaii.
You did?
That
Okay.
was a kick to shit. that was fun. That was fun. I heard that they had a good time.
Can you tell us like what your experience was like for the games that you got to travel with them?
Okay, so I got to dress for Houston, and I went to Army Navy as well. And it was so exciting seeing the president there and all the top tier leaders of the country.
Yeah.
But it's really, the experience there is really I was kind of underestimating like the experience of it, but once you get dressed in your your uniform and you're ready to go, it just becomes so much more real than you could ever imagine beforehand. You're like, wow, I'm really about to go out, college football game, I'm on TV, like I wasn't on TV, but the possibility of that was just it's so fluent in my mind. I was just like, it almost felt like it was in a dream, so the experience is just, you can't top it.
What was basic training like for you going into the Naval Academy?
So, basic training, so I'll give you the schedule, I'll give you the rundown of the summer. So, you'd wake up, I think it's 6. You get an hour and a half of, why am I blanking on the word right now? PEP, physical education preparation for the Naval Academy, which is like working out, running, doing all sorts of exercises to get you in shape and get you fit. And then breakfast, and then from the times between breakfast, lunch, and lunch to dinner, they filled up that time with a bunch of not random but like useful stuff we need to know going into the Navy. So sometimes we'd have gray space, which sucked because we had a little book. It's called Reef Points, and it's all the stuff you need to memorize in order to like start the Naval Academy. Stuff you need to memorize in order to like understand and comprehend what you need to know going into the academic year. And gray space was constant yelling, memorize this paragraph in this amount of time, and then recite it back word for word, verbatim. And if you got like something wrong, they'd drop you, and you'd have to like hold the plank for about 5-6 minutes, whatever. It was just the gray space was not my most enjoyable time. But we went sailing, we shot rifles, we shot M16s, we shot pistols. That was great. That's what the little ribbons are. And it was just, it was some parts were fun. It was almost like very bipolar feeling of the summer. Because some parts you'd be like really excited about, like 4th of July. We got to go out into the football field and we got to watch the fireworks, which was great.
That's cool.
And then gray space would just knock your self-esteem down and be like, oh no. But basic training was, I'm not gonna say easy, but I thought it'd be a lot harder.
Okay.
All right. So what was it like eating, like staying on campus, eating, rooming at the academy, and how did they like pay for it? Like pay for your schooling? Like how does that like work?
So this is, I would, in my own words, I'd call it a desirable trade because you go to school for 4 years debt free. You don't have to pay for it. Actually, the government pays you to be there, which is great. But after your 4 years of education, you're required to serve 5 years in the fleet, real world, situations that you're leading sailors or Marines or SEALs if you're so entitled to be a Navy SEAL. But you're leading these sailors, which their parents give their sons and daughters their lives in your hands, right? You have their lives in your hands. So it's almost like a desirable trade with education and not having to pay versus serving and being in face of danger. Rooming wise, it's very standard for college. 3-4 roommates, not that bad. There's rooms where you can opt to 6 roommates. But you need a special room to do that. But it's great. Everyone there has a common goal. Everyone there wants to, be, be an impact to the world, and lead one of the world's, fighting forces, the United States Navy. And they all want to be the best. They all want to compete and succeed and do what they have to do to make sure they're on top. So it's great to be surrounded with like-minded people,
Okay, so right here, I'm pretty sure the camera can't see it, but is that you piloting a plane?
No, that was an edit that I got after my unofficial, and that was just so cool to see the possibility of me flying, F-18 Hornet, or now as the F-18 is being phased out, the F-35 C variant. But that was really cool. Shout out to my mans Connor Stallions for making that edit. That was, just unreal editing skills. But they photoshopped my face into the mask. Into the flight suit. I was just blown away by it. I was just like, wow, that could be me in 5 years.
So you haven't flown yet?
No.
Is it going to be like a part of training at some point, like when you'll be able to?
So over the summer, between your freshman, sophomore, junior year, and then junior, senior year, you have a bunch of training, like things you can do, right? So for this summer, I'll be on a cruise, summer cruise for about 2 weeks, out in San Diego on a destroyer, which is great. And then I'm required to take two semesters of summer school, and then football camp starts out. And then sophomore summer, you go on. I'm forgetting the name, but it's like a week of aviation, a week of Marines, and then a week again in the fleet on a destroyer or cruiser. And it's so cool because you get a taste of everything. And then senior or junior year, going into senior year that summer, depending on what you've narrowed down your choices as, what you want to be selected for as a commissioned officer, that's when you would kind of narrow down your choices. So you can do powered flight, which is you learn how to fly. You can go on a SEAL cruise if you want to be a SEAL. You can go to Leatherneck, which is if you want to be a Marine. And it's just, it's your choice depending on what you like. And if you do well, you have a really good chance of getting that as a commissioned officer.
Wow. Man, you have a lot of choices. Oof.
Yeah, the choices there are endless.
Man.
So, what was it like being on all the big ships?
If you have been to this point. We commissioned
a literal combat ship, the USS Sioux City, and that was stationed at the academy for a little bit. And they did a big ceremony about it, and they commissioned it there. And an LCS Ticonderoga Freedom variant, which is one of the newer ships of the United States Navy. Very sleek, very fast. It's almost like a jet ski. It doesn't have any not motors, but propellers. It shoots in or takes in water and then shoots it out the bag to make it go even faster, which is great. I got to go on that as a tour because I had a couple free periods. And I was like, screw it, might as well go learn something useful. And just the amount of stuff like that's on there, and like I can only speak as this is my first experience because it is my first experience. But the amount of technology there, the amount of knowledge that you need to know. In order to drive the ship is just unparalleled to where I'm at right now.
Wow, that's cool. I hope they have like those college basketball games. I know they have those on aircraft carriers too. They've had.
Yeah, sometimes that's
so
wild. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And also, I saw the classic, the Army-Navy game, as always, on TV this year. I watch it every year.
That was
And I
pretty
saw on your story that you were there this year
Yeah.
in Philly. Is the rivalry intense,
Oh my
Army-Navy,
gosh.
as Michigan-Ohio State and Michigan-Michigan State?
So I've never been to a Michigan-Ohio State game. I can't speak to that at all. But all I know is that when we do play Army, it is nothing like I've ever seen. Again, I have never been to a Michigan-Ohio State game, and I know that's a big rivalry. Not taken away from that. But I guess that day, that night, those 2-3 hours is like a tribute to everyone serving. You get to see Navy take on Army, two very different teams, and when they go off and are being commissioned as officers, they're completely opposites. You got one based on land, one basically based in the oceans and the seas, and I mean just seeing it's just I can't explain it. It's ridiculous. My parents were in the stadium, and you had the Corps Cadets, which is the entire Army West Point student body being there, and we had the Brigade of Midshipmen, which is our student body being there, and it was so. My parents said the stadium was shaking because of jumping up and down, and it was ridiculous. And then Trump was there. I got to shake Trump's hand. That was really, really cool.
Wow.
Seeing the Chief of Naval Operations there. I mean, Vice President wasn't there, but Mattis was there. Commandant Marine Corps was there. I mean, it was just ridiculous how many people come to that, and that really opened my eyes to see like, wow, this is a really big deal. So I know Ohio State, Michigan again is a big deal, but I really can't speak to that compared to the Army Navy.
Yeah, but because we hear the comparisons like Ohio State, Michigan's huge, Michigan State's huge.
Right.
Army and Navy is just probably as big. So that's
Yeah.
interesting on how big it is, because most people around here we're focused on those two rivalries,
Right.
not
Right.
that one. But that's more of an interesting rivalry to follow.
Yeah,
follow
and
history.
I heard this on an Army Navy. They do really cool commercials before the games. I mean, if you ever watch the Army Navy game, tune in. Just before the game starts, they do really cool commercials. And I heard a quote that it's the only game where everyone's playing in it is willing to die for everyone who's watching it, and that like really,
yeah.
that really captures
Yeah.
the
Wow.
I mean, I was blown away by that. And when I saw that, that was when Bennett Mooring missed that 48-yard field goal to beat Army in the last seconds of the fourth quarter, and I was there. That was another story, but seeing that on TV as I watched it later, I got so much more excited to be there and be involved in what the Academy stands for.
Well, since you kind of stole
Yeah,
Hunter's
you
next
stole
question.
my question.
Oh, you did! Oh my God, it was psychic.
Yeah.
So,
I guess we'll go to me then. So, that sounds like a great experience. But is that your favorite experience at Navy so far? And if it's not, what is your favorite?
Oh boy. Okay, so Army Navy game definitely up there, right?
Mhm.
But the week leading up to when we played the other service academies, so Air Force and Army, we have something called Air Force Week or Army Week, depending on who we're playing. And that is a week full of shenanigans, pranks. It is just so ridiculous what we do. And I think my favorite part was during Air Force Week. Some friends, I wasn't involved because I was asleep. I needed sleep. But some of my friends took an upright, right? Football uprights, things you kick the footballs through, and they dragged it into the middle to Tecumseh Court, which is right in the middle, right at the center, the timepiece of the Naval Academy, and they put a banner on it that said "Beat Chair Force," because you make jokes in the military about Air Force not being much, and you call it Chair Force because all they do is sit on chairs. But anyway, and then they put a bunch of bottles of maple syrup in the sign of an N star, right? So N and then a star for Navy's insignia, and it was just we woke up, right? I had to get the workouts, and I walked through the Tecumseh Court, and I saw it. I was like, almost like a double take. It's early in the morning. I'm tired. I'm like, what is that? I was just like, then I read the front of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know who did that. But it was just, that was probably the best experience. Just seeing, all, because most of the pranks are pulled by freshmen or plebes. So it's fun to see everyone in our class get together to pull pranks that are
Wow.
that are just so great.
That's
But
insane.
that was probably my favorite part. That and the just being at the Army Navy game. That's those are very very close together.
Eric, I'll steal your question. I'll
All right,
steal it. I'll
that
steal your
works.
question. What are
I'm good
your
with
plans? What are your plans after Navy? Do you plan on serving out the full time, depending on how football goes? plans after that, because there's a ton of them. There's the AAF arena, CFL,
Right.
all that
Right.
stuff, even the NFL.
Yeah.
Or is there something else that you have in mind after you're done serving?
So obviously, the service academies don't get a lot of media attention for producing NFL talent, and that's going into college. I was like not interested in the NFL. I wasn't really focused on that like a lot of college football players are. I was just really focused on serving, being at school, doing well, and just like kind of keeping down to earth views of myself and my future. But I mean, I'm not going to write the NFL off. If I'm good enough the 2 or 3 years that I play there, and things happen and I can go into the reserves, because that's what you have to do in order to be on an active NFL roster. If that is a possibility, I'll do my best, I'll give my all. But I mean, if not, I'm not really sweating it. It's not like that's my career. I have a great career, 5 years of service, and then a degree, Bachelor of Science from one of the top universities in the country. To build a foundation to build up and go get jobs or whatever. But NFL ultimately not my goal, but if that's a possibility, I would definitely work for it.
Exactly. And Lance, this is kind of a joke, but do you know any like government secrets? Something that you can share with us?
So government
So, like-
secrets, no, but I have had a bunch. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the USS Cole, but it was bombed in Yemen. I think in 2001 or early or late 90s or something around there. And we had the captain of the USS Cole at that time talk to us about what went down, the circumstances, everything that played into that, and then how they kept the boat afloat from sinking to the bottom. And that was really cool. I don't know if that's government, so I'm just not government top secret. So I'm just not going to speak on the specifics of that.
That's
but
fine.
we have had
Classified.
yeah, we have had speakers come in. Like I'm taking government right now. We've had a bunch of speakers come in that are top level government security. Clearances and everything. We had a lawyer come from D.C. when she was the lawyer for I think it was Bill Clinton and George Bush. I think they both worked together with her, and she told me that she can't say a lot of things because it is
Highly
They
classified.
tell
Very
you they're going
classified.
to kill you.
Yeah, I don't know that far, but like you'll definitely have to like do something to remediate that. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is really cool to like be involved, not like involved with it, but like see like the tip of the iceberg. Like, hey, I can't say that, otherwise I'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
But that was really cool to see.
And it was, we're out of time, and it was really cool to
Yeah.
have you
Oh
here.
my
It was
gosh.
so
Yeah, yeah.
awesome to have you here.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome, you guys.
Oh, it's awesome to have you here, and good luck with everything. Good luck with
I wish you luck for upcoming seasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it. I'll need it.
We're hoping to see you on TV during that Army-Navy game in a few years. That'd be awesome
Yeah.
to see.
That would be great to see. I'll try to do it, but if not, no sweat next year.
Yeah. And Sam Martin, of course. We ran out of time. So, and next week we'll be back with Oakland's women's 8th all-time scorer Taylor Jones will be with us next week for our March Madness show. So that'll be fun.
Well, that'll be
That'll be fun. And Cam, thank you again so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
So much for having me.
And of course, we appreciate your service as well.
Of course, my pleasure.
And we'll be back next week, as always. Keep it fresh.
What's going on, Frazier High? It's Darian Harris, former Michigan State and Cincinnati Bengal linebacker. Heard from Aaron you guys are doing a campaign on distracted driving. And first I wanted to say I think that's phenomenal. I think it's great that you guys are valuing your safety and the safety of others. Wanted to remind you guys to put the phones down while you guys are driving. The texts can wait, the calls can wait. Make sure you're understanding that doing that keeps you and everybody else safe. Really appreciate again that you all are doing this. You guys are becoming leaders in your community, and that's fantastic.